everyone, myself Dr. Rutuja Deshmukh. Once again, welcome to my channel. Today, my topic is theories of growth from orthodontic. I will explain all theories in brief. Only functional matrix theory will be explained in detail as it is most important and was viewers' demand. So, there are 6 main theories of growth which are taken into consideration according to Balaji. They are remodeling theory of craniofacial growth by Brass, genetic theory by Alan Brody, sutural theory by Seacher, cartilaginous theory by James Scott, functional matrix theory by Melvin Moss, the most important theory, and Van Limburg's theory. There are many more other theories which are not considered over here. So let's learn briefly about other 5, and lastly we will learn about the main functional matrix theory. So the first theory, remodeling theory, which is given by Brash. This theory says that the bone deposition takes place at the outer surfaces and resorption takes place at the inner surfaces. Always remember that growth takes place oppositionally, that is, deposition and resorption takes place simultaneously. Look at the diagram. The vault shows deposition of bone ectocranially, shown by the positive sign, and resorption endocranially, shown by the negative sign. Remember, deposition of bone for growth of jaw takes place at the posterior surfaces of maxilla as well as mandible. You can clearly make out how deposition and resorption of the bone in the growth of mandible is taking place. This is what actually remodeling theory explains. Second theory, genetic theory, given by Alan Brody. He states that all growth is controlled by genetic influence and is pre-planned. Everything depends on genes. Third theory, sutural theory, given by Seacher. S for S. Suture and Seacher are rhyming words, so easy to remember. He believed that craniofacial growth occurs at the sutures, and the connective tissue and the cartilaginous joints of the craniofacial skeleton are the primary sites. Basic funda is that growth takes place at the suture, where the forces are applied in opposite direction to move bones of the vault away from each other. Look at the diagram. You can clearly see that forces are acting in opposite direction near the suture, hence making the bone to expand, and hence the growth of the bone takes place. This is what sutural theory states. But this theory has some drawbacks. They are, when an area of suture is transplanted to another location, tissue does not continue to grow. Thus, it shows that suture lacks innate growth potential, that is, it cannot grow by itself. Second, growth takes place in untreated cases of cleft palate, even when there is absence of suture. Third, microcephalic case and hydrocephalic case. Microcephaly, that is small head, and hydrocephaly, that is fluid accumulation in brain. This raised doubt about the stimulus present in sutures. The last, sutural growth can be restricted by mechanical force like clips placed across the suture. These all are the drawbacks of the sutural theory. Next theory, cartilaginous theory, given by James Scott. He says primary intrinsic growth factors are present in cartilage and periosteum, while suture being secondary. So he focuses on cartilages. For maxilla, nasoseptal cartilage for growth of nasomaxillary complex. He says nasoseptal cartilage is pacemaker for growth and to form nasomaxillary complex. And for mandible, he says to consider mandible as a diaphysis of long bone. Look at the picture. This is long bone. At the ends we have epiphysis and in the middle we have diaphysis. Now if we remove epiphysis and diaphysis is bent in horseshoe shape, the remaining epiphyseal plate will represent condyle of mandible and the diaphysis is considered as mandible. This is epiphyseal plate. When we remove epiphysis, some part of the epiphyseal plate is also removed. So, the remaining part of the epiphyseal plate will act as a condyle. And this is what the cartilaginous theory explains. This theory is Van Limburg's theory. It is a multifactorial theory. He states that a lot of factors affect growth of a bone, like intrinsic genetic factors, that is genetic control of person. Next, local epigenetic, that is genetic control originating from adjacent structures like brain, eyes, etc. General epigenetic, that is genetic control from distinct structures like sex hormones, growth hormones, etc. Local environmental factors, which consist of habits, muscle force, etc. And general environmental factors, which consist of nutrition, oxygen, etc. These all factors all together are responsible for growth. This is stated by Van Limburg's theory. Now moving on to the most important theory, the functional matrix theory given by Melvin Moss. M for M, matrix M and Melvin Moss M. Now, as we know that number of relatively independent functions are carried out in craniofacial regions like respiration, hearing, digestion, speech, swallowing, neural coordination, etc. Each of these functions is carried out by functional cranial component. Now, what does it contain? It contains all the tissues, organs, spaces, skeletal part necessary to carry out any of this function. That is, everything that is needed to carry out a function is included in functional cranial component. Now, the functional cranial component is divided into functional matrix and skeletal unit. First, we will learn about the skeletal unit. What does the skeletal unit consist of? It consists of bone, cartilage, endogenous tissue. Now, skeletal unit is again divided into microskeletal unit and macroskeletal unit. What is microskeletal unit? It means that when a bone is formed by several microskeletal units like maxilla, which is formed by a number of micro units like orbital bone, pneumatic bone, palatal bone, etc. The maxilla comprises of number of small units. Another example is mandible, which is again formed by a number of micro units like alveolar bone, angular bone, condylar bone, gonial bone, mental bone. These all comprises a mandible and they all function separately to form maxilla and mandible. Thus, they come under the microskeletal unit. When we talk about the macroskeletal unit, these all bone will function as a single bone. For example, the calvarium. In calvarium, we have various bones like frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, ethmoidal. But they all work together. They all work as a single bone. They do not function separately. This is the difference between the microskeletal and macroskeletal unit. Now, moving towards the functional matrix. The functional matrix is again divided into periosteal matrix and capsular matrix. First, we will learn about the periosteal matrix. Periosteal matrix, here it acts directly. This matrix acts directly on related skeletal units. It consists of muscles, blood vessels, nerves, glands, etc. So, whenever there is an alteration in functional demands, these structures directly act on skeletal unit, leading to the transformation in shape and size. And as the name suggests, periosteal, so it is related to bone. Hence, the changes takes place with the help of deposition and resorption of the bone. So, as there is changes in the demands, all this structure will act directly on the skeletal unit, leading to its transformation in shape and size. Now coming towards the capsular matrix, which acts indirectly. That is, there is expansion of the orofacial capsule. What is orofacial capsule? Orofacial capsule consists within its all the facial bones and everything, the facial bone arise, grows and maintain inside the orofacial capsule. Hence, passively the facial skeletal expand whenever there is an expansion of the orofacial capsule. Hence, there is nothing like resorption or deposition of bone. Here, there will be expansion of the capsule which will ultimately or passively lead to the facial skeletal expansion. The example of this capsular matrix are neurocranial capsule and orofacial capsule, and thus the growth occurs. I hope all your concepts are clear by now. If you like the video, do like, share and subscribe my channel if you are new. Stay with me for more updates. Please comment whatever topic you need, and video will be uploaded on the same in a week. Thank you.